Evil Dead remade by, and let's get this straight, it's a remake. I did a blog about it on Kermode Uncut, talking about the cuts list, the original, and some people said it's not a remake. It is a remake. You can dress it up any way you want, but it's a remake, as I think Fede Alvarez kind of talked about. And indeed,
what did he call it? A reimagining or something?
Reimagining, reboot, rethinking,
It's
whatever it is. Yeah, Sam Raimi used the word remake. It's a remake. Get over it. Group of friends go to stay in a cabin in the wood, which never seems like a good idea. The twist this time is that they have a reason, which is that one of them is going cold turkey and the others are there to support her. Whilst there, they find a flesh-bound book of spells, which one of them reads out loud, despite the fact that there are scrawls all over it which say, do not, under any circumstances, read anything out loud. Next thing you know, one of them is attacked in the woods by trees in a reprise of an infamous scene from the original Evil Dead. Demons get into the house, everyone becomes possessed, it's spam in a cabin time. Here's a clip.
This book uses some ancient alphabet. There's some translations, but just scattered notes. They all refer to some evil entity, taker of souls, demon. It says, once he feasts on 5 souls, the sky will bleed again, and the abomination will rise from hell. This is insane. This thing is attached to Mia's soul like a leech. It's becoming her. If we want to stop this, if we want to help Mia, I think we're gonna have to kill her.
Something I hadn't noticed before is at one point he turns a bit Woody Allen. It's attached to a soul like a leech. I know.
And everyone else is just saying, leave the book alone.
I know.
It's got barbed wire around it.
Okay, but that's fine because that's a horror trope. Here's the thing.
Is a horror trope the same as a horror cliche?
Well, one has an implied criticism and the other is just a description.
Okay.
The thing with the original Evil Dead, and we talked to Fede Alvarez about this when he was on the show last week. The original Evil Dead was meant to be funny. Fede Alvarez said he talked to Sam Raimi about it and said, was it meant to be funny? And Raimi said, no, it was meant to be scary. The genius of the original was it was scary and funny. And incidentally, I've interviewed Raimi about this a lot of times, and he talked very specifically. The phrase he used was he said that he had always seen the original Evil Dead as the Three Stooges, essentially, with basically Gore standing in for custard pies. That's the way he did it. And it is funny and it is scary. And Stephen King said, the most ferociously original horror film of years. I remember seeing it in the cinema and people shrieking, but you were scared and it was funny. The thing with this is, it isn't funny. They've taken the humour out of it. They've played it a lot straighter and a lot nastier. The other problem is that it isn't scary either. That's not to say that it's not well made, because it is well made. It's just, it is a big problem with something which, whereas the original was a horror comedy that I've always cited as one of the very few examples of something which is scary and funny at the same time. This is a horror movie that isn't scary. I mean, it's very much inflected by the post-torture porn palette. They've got that kind of, that washed out sepia grunge tone all the way through. There is a kind of, what it lacks is it lacks the joy of the original. Also, it doesn't solve any of the problems of the original. I mean, the tree scene, which was notorious in the original and was always a problem. And I remember interviewing Raimi about it and saying, what about that scene? And Raimi said quite clearly, he said, that scene was the product of an immature mind, mine. It was that he fessed up. It was, he made the film when he was very young, and it was something that he said he wasn't proud of. What they've done and it's a remake, because if it isn't a remake, why would you have to revisit the tree sequence? They've sort of attempted to kind of to rethink it, but
not really.
No. Well, exactly. Well, the point is, one, the presence of that scene demonstrates it is a remake, and secondly, the presence of that scene demonstrates that they haven't solved the problems of the original. So, whereas the original was free, this is the best way of describing it. The original was yikes, and this is yuck. The original was wah, and this is bleh. And it's a very strange sort of tonal shift. And as I said, I think the thing that this is not to say that it's badly made, because it is genuinely nasty, but also in terms of the remake thing. I mean, Evil Dead 2 was, to all intents and purposes, a remake of the Evil Dead. Cabin Fever, the Eli Roth film, was, to all intents and purposes, a sort of remake of the Evil Dead. We've had those reworkings of it before. It surprises me that this has done as well as it has, because I have to say that you know, when I watch it, all I do is I was trying to remember why it was that the original was so, for all the things that are wrong with the original, why it was that it was so thrilling. And I remember that the thing was sitting in a cinema. I went to see it with Phil Gladwin, screen 5 to 9 on the Oxford Road in Manchester, and we sat there and we went ah. You know, and really in that proper shrieky horror film, and it was a strangely joyous experience, despite the fact that there are certain scenes in that film that still remain problematic. I didn't find watching the remake a joy, and it's not just that I'm 50 now and I was, you know, a teenager, I was 20s, you know, when I saw the first one. It's that the thing that made the first one special. And bear in mind, the first one was dragged through the courts on obscenity charges because it was right at the centre of The Evil Dead. If you go to, you know, the Kermode Uncut blog, I did a whole blog reading out the BBFC cuts when they were trying to get the film into some form that wouldn't be prosecutable on video. I mean, it was a real cause of, that's how scary and nasty it was seen to be. And yet there was a sense of joy in it. I don't find that joy in the remake. And it's not scary, and that's a problem.
Okay.